100. A century. A centennial. It's a powerful milestone. On November 14th, 1914, Nellie Cornish founded the Cornish School here in Seattle, Washington. Where the Smith Tower had just been built, the Seattle Giants were playing baseball in the Rainier Valley, and most of our streets were not yet paved. Let's consider the bigger picture. As a woman, Nellie Cornish could not vote in 1914. World War I had just begun, and a devastating financial crisis was lingering, causing fear that the gold standard would fail globally. And yet somehow, Nellie established a music school grounded in the passionate belief that art and arts education have intrinsic value and importance to all people, that the arts, in a tangible way, make us human. Once again, a woman founded an art school in 1914 in Seattle. Why did they come to such a backwater? Why would such accomplished artists come to a gold rush pioneer town to teach and learn, perform and produce music, dance, painting, and sculpture? They had come for Nellie's vision, and that vision is in our DNA.
When I came to Seattle and Cornish, I ultimately firstly fell in love with the city. And when I went to audition and take class at Carey Hall, there was this bright light around me. And I thought, this is just where I have to be. I don't know why, but this is where I have to be.
Being an artist in Seattle really sort of helped define that really technology could be a new medium for me to work in as an artist.
Cornish was just always this place that I knew about growing up, and this place that I kind of admired and looked up to. And when I decided that I wanted to go to art school, I didn't actually apply anywhere else. I was just like, Cornish is where I want to go.
Nellie Cornish did not believe in daydreaming, but dreaming was another matter entirely. Within 3 years, Cornish had enrolled over 600 students, making it the country's largest music school west of Chicago. And Cornish taught more than music. The driving vision was clear: teach the whole artist. Interdisciplinary learning informed everything the school did.
We would go to the dance hall and draw and try to capture the motion and forms that were being described by these artists in their medium and translating that into our medium.
I don't make much of a distinction between artist and designer. I can manage to get technical and craft and design into one project. That's where I'm most pleased, because I'm looking for a voice that involves all of those things. Touching stars or touching beats or having your hands on things, looking for very sophisticated ways to interact with technology, but that are magical in the way that you actually interface.
It's not some witch's brew where you put in a dash of brilliance and a symphony comes out. It's the result of going and seeing, oh, Donatello did this, what can I do this in music? Or this is how f-stops work on a camera. How can I kind of simulate that in what I do?
It wasn't until I got to Cornish that I really started to learn how diverse and how vast the contemporary world is and what's involved in that. Teachers that I had at Cornish, they come from all different styled disciplines and practices, and you really get to see how different artists work, and then you also have your peers.
You know, if you look at the track record of people that go to Cornish, everyone's careers are vastly different, even though they came from the same department or the same small class.
I went into Cornish thinking, I just want to paint. I want to paint like this. I know how I want to do it. And my mind was just totally blown open. I take photographs for the paintings. I'm able to capture this moment that is very much them, and then I can spend 100 hours and work on this one image and really bring it to life.
From the beginning, there's been something a bit different about this place. Sure, the education is excellent, performances are outstanding, faculty renowned, and graduates making a difference all over the world, but this is also a family, with potential collaborators and lifelong relationships all around you.
Another thing that drew me to Cornish was actually learning that Merce Cunningham started dancing at Cornish. He first took class from Martha Graham at Cornish. He first met John Cage at Cornish. All these like incredible relationships of people who've like paved the way for a lot of experimentation and innovation to happen started in that building.
One of the strengths about Cornish is that it celebrates the spirit of collaboration.
Little girl's imagination.
I always say that with my friends and collaborators from Cornish, we have such a vocabulary and a way of working together. We've gone beyond the point of shorthand, and now we work in Morse code.
I just think the work that the artists that are coming out of Cornish, and it's not even a bias, they're genuinely amazing artists. Aaliyah's in New York, and she's on the international stage. I first saw Sutton Bears Color in the alumni gallery at Cornish. That was when I first came across their work, and I just always liked what they did. And when the time came to open a gallery, you know, reach out and see if it's something they're interested in doing.
Some of the first work that I did after Cornish was also with a former music major, Zeke Keeble, and we formed a performance company together called Locust. And all the people that worked with us in the beginning were from different disciplines. So there were people that were from the theater background, people from the Butoh world. Reggie Watts was in our first shows, who went to Cornish and studied theater, but now he's doing amazing things all over the world.
Risk, courage, fearlessness. These are also the building blocks of our DNA. Art making and arts education have not always been cared for or bolstered by the wider culture. And the more humane world that these two things produce in combination has not always been valued. This mission can be tough to defend.
Some of my favorite teachers were always the ones who inspired you to be a little dangerous and to make really bold choices and not be afraid to do something that just might not work.
They ask you to fail. They ask you to explore and risk. And from that, you become a stronger artist.
I knew right away when I was a young person that I wanted to make my own work, that I wanted to be a choreographer, and I felt really supported at Cornish doing that.
Other schools are really focused on the name and not letting you out of the box until you're completely done. They don't want you working in the community or working professionally. My sophomore year, I did my first piece in the community at On the Boards. I auditioned for 12 Minutes Max and got in with a solo.
At Cornish, I really developed my craft, learning how to build, learning how to construct, the sort of basics. And then when I started working with materials, I was dealing with political, social issues, and I wanted to find a way to use the actual material that I was talking about politically or socially.
It was invaluable as far as giving me the strength of experience to create my own work. And if I hadn't, I still would be the same person who wants to create their own work, who wants to be in charge, but I wouldn't have had those early skills of producing.
Being exposed to this world where you've got PhDs in different disciplines, material science, aerospace engineers, and coming at this really as an art director and looking at it and saying, what are all the different disciplines that are on this project and how do we synthesize these things and create something that has a lot of value in it? And being abstract and thinking about these ways of which you can apply the technology, I think is very important.
Thousands of Cornish alumni have become the citizens, artists, and innovators that our current mission proclaims. Our history has not been a linear progression or an endless cycle, but an ascending spiral of incremental improvement. So now, as we begin the second Cornish century, we are mandated to push it, to expand what we offer the world.
Our country needs to foster this kind of education. It's an important part of humanity, and it's not a sidebar. It's a cornerstone.
The people that do the most progressive things usually with technology are artists, because they're not just using it for its raw capabilities, they're using it to do expressions of things, so it's in the best hands when it's in the creative's hands.
When you pair an artist and an engineer together, what you've got is somebody that can ask really important, challenging questions of why. Why should we do this? Why would people want to use it? How does it enhance people's lives?
Happy anniversary, Cornish College of the Arts. This is a living history, a freely floating manifesto, both leading and following our community, our work, and our possibility.